And good evening. First here at 5 o'clock, reaction and some frustration to Portland's latest plan to tackle the homeless crisis. Yesterday, we learned where Portland city leaders want to put the remainder of the Safe Rest villages. And not everyone's happy. Tim Gordon is live in the newsroom. Tim, it sounds like you heard some common themes here.
Yeah, right, Laurel. First of all, hope that these kinds of supportive homeless communities will help a bad situation, but also frustration from neighbors who say they were not included in the selection process. From North Portland to Northeast and from downtown to Southwest Portland, the final 4 of 6 Safe Rest Village sites are named. You can see the locations on this map, the final 4 in green. We started in St. John's off North Syracuse Street. This city property near Peninsula Crossing is where the Belmont Goats now reside. But for even longer, it's where unsanctioned homeless camping has been happening, and with it, the associated problems.
We have so much crime happening right now. We don't feel safe in our neighborhoods.
Deirdre Jennings and family have lived in this neighborhood a long time. She says the homeless situation has gotten really bad in the past few years with little city response.
And then when they come to this solution, we still have so many more questions around it. And I think we've been very patient and respectful. And to have this decision made without us being a part of it is extremely frustrating.
The Jennings backyard borders the proposed Safe Stay Village.
It's not tenable at present.
And so does next-door neighbor Mark Smith's. He has the same concerns about what the supportive camp will look like and how it will run. He's also hopeful.
It could make a really big difference in the neighborhood if there were managed facilities, if there were treatments available, if there was some kind of infrastructure that would really support people there.
Maybe some lessons and hope can come from Vancouver's experience so far with what it calls safe stay communities. A second site has been chosen off of 4th Plain Boulevard, and program leaders are conducting what they call extensive outreach to those in that area. And its first location, opened with tiny houses since late December, is already seeing successes come from the security and support people are getting there. Some have gone into addiction treatment, others going to school, and
as of this week, I think we've got 4 people who have received or obtained employment. Lots of IDs coming in the mail already. ID is a real hot button. Lots of people lose it while they're living outside.
Back in Portland, we also stopped by the NATO Parkway site next to a homeless resource center by the Broadway Bridge.
Thank you for that my opinion, it actually counted or mattered.
We talked to a young homeless man who was glad to hear about a safe rest village coming here.
It's so hard to get resources, so you coming up like with this, and there's more availability in this section of town. That's very nice.
We included Vancouver in our story, and one other note in that direction. The homeless response coordinator there told me today representatives from Portland and Multnomah County will be going up to Vancouver to tour that city's supportive community system next week. Laurel?
Thank you, Tim. And meantime, state lawmakers are also tackling the problem of homelessness. Oregon Democrats are proposing a $400 million investment package. It aims to both help people on the street and take on some of the root causes of homelessness. $165 million would go towards shelters, rapid rehousing, and homeless outreach. And $215 million would fund affordable housing. That includes buying land and building new units. Another $20 million would support home ownership. Now to the invasion in Ukraine. Russian troops are bearing down on Ukraine's capital of Kyiv, while residents are getting ready to fight, take shelter, or leave the country. Today, President Biden spoke with the Ukrainian President Zelensky about the situation. Zelensky released a video showing him standing his ground in the capital. He told world leaders it might be the last time they see him alive and pleaded for help. He also offered to negotiate on Russian President Putin's demand that Ukraine abandon ambitions to join NATO. Today, Ukraine's ambassador to the U.S. said the world needs to hold Russia responsible.
Look, there is only one person knows what we need to do for him to stop, and it's Mr. Putin. He's the one who started this war in 2014. He's the one who started this war in 2021 with the escalation. He's the one who started really hot, full-fledged war right now.
The White House also announced economic sanctions against Vladimir Putin. It's considered a rare step to directly target a world leader. Portland is showing its support for Ukraine and its people. A rally was held yesterday afternoon near Salmon Street Springs. People came with flags and banners and signs following the devastation in Ukraine. Those we talked to say they're rallying to bring awareness and supplies to those in the country.
Right now, it seems that Ukraine is fighting alone. And the message is, if you don't stop Putin now in Ukraine, the Baltics, Poland, other Eastern European countries will be next.
Right now, local groups are trying to send medical supplies to Ukraine, but they're worried they might be stuck in Portland for days or maybe even weeks because of airport closures and supply chain disruptions. They said they're working to figure out what to do next. In the pandemic, today the CDC announced it is relaxing mask guidelines. It will now only recommend indoor mask wearing in places with high levels of COVID infections. The CDC says more than half of U.S. counties are at low or medium risk right now. Oregon and Washington both plan to lift their indoor mask mandates in mid-March. All three Portland area counties are considered medium risk at the moment. Wow, talk about a parent's worst nightmare. A stranger stole a car with a 3-year-old child inside. Luckily, some onlookers helped chase down the suspect. Police say the child's mom called 911. This happened about 8 this morning to report a stolen car. Someone jumped in her car while it was still running and drove away with her 3-year-old son in the back seat. The boy's father was also there and immediately gave chase in a separate car. He followed the suspect for several blocks, then crashed his car into the stolen car. And that's when the suspect got out and ran, leaving the young boy and the stolen car behind. Now, here's the good news. The little boy was not hurt, but the dad didn't quit there. He told some onlookers what had just happened, and several of them took off after the suspect. They caught up to the person, and someone actually used their car to pin the suspect against a fence. Others helped keep him there until police arrived.
At that point, other onlookers had caught up with me. The Amazon driver, I wish I knew his name, got out of his truck with some rope, and we began to tie him up and detain him until the police got here. It all happened relatively quickly.
Wow. Police say the suspect was injured during that chase. They will be arrested once they're released from the hospital. But once again, most importantly, the young boy who was in the car was not hurt. What a team effort there. Relief for a couple. Now, this is good news. This couple moved to Portland from Arizona. Police have found their stolen U-Haul truck and trailer. We told you about this last night at 11. Jennifer Belts and her partner Jeff were staying at the Comfort Inn off Interstate 84 in Troutdale Wednesday. And overnight, thieves broke into the truck in the parking lot and drove off with all of their belongings inside that U-Haul. Thankfully, deputies found the trailer last night at a Gresham apartment complex, and the truck was discovered about a mile away this morning. Deputies did arrest a man, and they were able to recover most of the couple's items. So that's great news. If you've been in Portland for any length of time, you've probably found yourself stuck in traffic at some point on Highway 217. It's a road that's prone to crashes and jams. But it is getting some help. Tonight, Chris McGinnis looks at the project to improve 217.
In addition to the crashes that occur on Highway 217, there's often so much congestion that our firefighters and paramedics have to find different routes to emergencies, which costs precious time.
The 7.5 miles of Highway 217 carry 120,000 cars a day. On and off ramps are packed tightly, 10 along the corridor, making the shortest merging lanes in the area. Sideswipes and other merging mishaps are frequent. State records show nearly 1,500 crashes between Beaverton-Hillsdale Highway and 99W alone in the last decade, with more than 1,300 injuries.
What we hope to do is connect some ramp-to-ramp connections, improve auxiliary lane connections to improve safety.
An auxiliary lane is an entrance-to-exit lane where drivers enter a highway from one ramp and exit at the very next ramp. ODOT Director Chris Strickler spoke today about the 4-year, $158 million project kicking into high gear this month.
And we're trying to reconnect all modes of transportation to the best extent possible with each of our projects.
That means bike lanes, multi-use paths, and improvements to pedestrian crossings atop the freeway. And while this project is funded mostly from Oregon House Bill 2017 5 years ago, I asked the director if 217 would ever see tolls.
That's not a corridor that's on the map right now for tolling, but I will tell you that tolling is a potential congestion management solution, and we are moving forward with some of those efforts in other corridors in the region.
So, not exactly a no. Tolls are coming to I-205 in the next 3 years. Meanwhile, construction along the 217 corridor is already moving forward, and the Hall Boulevard overpass will be closing overnights this spring. Chris McGinnis, KGW News.